the first 10K month I had, like I was
Yeah.
talking about a closer on my team were good friends.
Yeah.
I went and got a new truck, like it
Yeah,
was
you're
funny,
fucking
but I
funny.
was like, and then my,
All right, what's up, guys? I'm here with my client and good friend Blaine. Blaine, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing, my friend. So, Blaine, in this one, I just want to talk about your entire journey from A to Z, how you got into remote closing, how everything has been, how life is looking now. But before we do that, super quick, bro, like, I like to always inspire people in the beginning of these calls. So, what's like your best ever commission month look like?
The best commission month was 14 on the current offer right now. Yeah.
14K. That's
Okay.
it's fucking crazy. And how old are you, bro?
23.
23. Yeah, that's pretty insane, man. So I mean, let's just take a full step back and let's just like unveil the curtains and just talk about how you even got to this position, man. So you're 23 years old right now. How long have you been closing for?
I started like high ticket closing in August of
In
last year.
August.
So that's like, I'm not good at math, dude.
Like what?
Fuck.
7 months,
In
7
6 months,
months?
it'll be a
Yeah.
year. So about, yeah, 6 months now, 6 or 7 months.
Insane. So how did you get into sales, man? I mean, like I think everyone wants to know like what kind of person were you before? How'd you even get into the space? Tell us the whole story, man.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty similar to yours, and that's kind of how we connected.
Yeah.
Got into the online space, saw the agency business model, tried that thing out,
Mm-hmm.
saw a little bit of success, but it did fail. But I did know that I liked the sales part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, after that, my agency failed, moral of the story, and then I got into just like an entry level sales job, which was
Mm-hmm.
not high ticket. It was commercial building sales, which was like doing all the lead gen, full sales cycle, long sales cycle. Um, did that for 3 months, and then I didn't really like it. And then I obviously knew about you. I had a friend that was a closer,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of, you know, opened my eyes to like kind of how how open the market is, I guess, like how you
Mm-hmm.
can really step into it and make money fairly easily.
Well, here's what I want to know, right? Like initially, right? Because I want to take a step at a time. Initially, it's like when you failed with the agency, why did you want to do sales? Because like typically when people fail with their agency, like two or three things happen, right? Either they're like they just keep going until they succeed with it, or either they're just like, fuck this, this isn't for me. Like you know what, this whole space is a scam. I'm done. And then it's a very rare amount of people that are like, you know what, let me just reassess things, and maybe the agency space isn't for me. Maybe sales is for me, or maybe something else is for me. So what kind of like made that idea go into your mind where you're like, you know what, let me give sales a shot?
Yeah, well, with the agency, I was really like every sales call I got, there was only three, but like I closed all three of them.
Yeah.
Closed all three of them.
Yeah.
I started to realize that service delivery was just like a cycle you're always having to outdo
Yep.
agencies, and it, cutting costs and stuff,
Hmm.
and then clients.
Hmm.
I'd rather just like do the sales part.
So like
Oh,
when you quit the agency and you're like screw this, let me just do something else. Like what did your first offer look like, and what kind of results did you get with that first offer before you found
yeah,
the
my
big
current
one that you're on
offer.
right now? Yeah.
Yeah, so the first offer wasn't like a high ticket
Yeah.
closing thing. It was like commercial building. So like what
Okay.
that looked like was tracking hailstorms across the country
Hmm.
basically, and using softwares to see, what buildings got damaged by a hailstorm, and you use that as leverage to, propose to them that you can get their building,
Yeah.
fixed basically. And
That's a weird fucking offer, bro.
it was ass. Like it was
Where'd you find that?
Some guy in my network, I knew a guy, like his name's Ruben. He was my friend,
Yeah.
just like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him about how I wanted to get into sales because he was in
Mm.
solar sales. He's like, I have a friend, his dad owns a company. And then I'm in Austin. I drove out to Dallas to meet this guy, never met him
Hmm.
before. And, any entry level sales job like that, I feel like they just take in whoever's willing
Yeah,
to
they do.
work
Yeah.
and they can speak, fluently
Okay.
in. So I was just like tried that, and
Yeah.
I got into it. It was ass,
It was
honestly.
okay. So how much money did you make from the first offer?
So get this, dude. So it was very like big
Yeah.
numbers, honestly. So I closed like over 1 million in 3 months just because the job is
Jeez.
so much money.
Yeah.
Like talking to like commercial real estate owners, so they have a lot of money.
Yep.
So I closed like over 7 figures in 3 months. I was owed, I still am owed like
Yeah.
6 figure commissions. But the
Jeez.
way it worked is you get 10% commission and you could
Yep.
take 1% of the whole job in advance. So
Mm-hmm.
I was living off advances for 3 months, which was only like 10 grand in 3 months.
Jeez. Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, it was did not end up being the best experience. It was just like a weird offer that you got into. You didn't really know the space all that well. More of a naive kid at that point in time, and yeah, they owed you money. You just didn't get paid, essentially.
Yeah,
Fuck.
it's pretty common in that
Okay.
space.
So, and then from there, you found was it your second offer, which is the one that you're on right now?
Yeah, this is like the one that I'm on right now is like pretty much technically my first high ticket
Yeah.
off
So
closing.
before we talk about the success you had on this offer, here's what I want to know. Because the thing is, look, like I'm not trying to just like hype you up. This is just like we've seen this in the space. If someone gets
Yeah.
fucked over once, like, they try something, they fail, most people give up. But two times, like you basically got screwed over two times. Like, why didn't you give up? Because most people would give up.
Well, fuck, dude. I mean, you know, if you see it online, like people making money, I mean, it's real, like it's
Yep.
possible. Like that's if I don't know, I just kind of knew I would make money. I just had to like figure something like it's all a learning phase, you know, when
Yeah.
you first like when it gets into your brain that you want to make money online, especially good money, you're gonna have to go through a learning curve of like figuring yourself out and what's the
Yeah.
best fit. So I knew like my time was coming.
And this is why I think people really resonate with stories like yours, where you actually failed a lot in the beginning and then you made it work. Because you didn't fucking get lucky. Like
No,
you worked for it, right? So this is why I want
yeah,
to know like what was going on in your mind. Because some people get fucking lucky. Their first gig like just was up, easy offer.
I-
You actually ate a lot of shit, right? This is why we are similar in that regard. But I want to
yeah.
know what was going on in your mind at that time where you're like, fuck this. No, no, like, I'm gonna make it work.
Yeah, so that's something the thing that pushed me and I recommend it to anyone is putting yourself in a corner and like taking shots basically. Like if you're gonna play it safe, you're probably not gonna become your full potential. Like you got to put yourself in a position where you have to make it work. So like with
Mhm.
that first commercial building offer that failed, I was in a new city. My living expenses were 3 grand a month at the time, and I had no income. So like once I quit that job, I only
Fuck.
had $50 in my account,
Shit.
you know, and
Yeah.
$50 in my account, and I had bills coming up
Yeah.
in a completely new city. And then I was like, I have a friend, and you know,
Hmm.
my friend.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could say his name,
He
but
says his name is fine.
Nabil.
Yeah.
So Nabil like helped me a lot, and I asked him like, what do I do? You know, basically, he's like, dude, if you put half the effort into outreach that you did for your agency into like finding a job for a closing position, you'll get it. And that's
Yep.
really what I did for a week straight. Just 3 hours a day straight, like deep work, literally just sending out
Yep.
applications, putting my name out there, like trying to figure it out. And then literally it all hit at once. I got onboarded to 3 different offers at one time, and I got to pick and choose
Yep.
basically on what I wanted. But it was just like putting like always back against the wall,
Good
honestly,
shit,
just like
bro. How'd you get good interviews? Because it's like I mean, after you booked in a couple, I mean, you got on fucking Tuesday's offer, which is what I like to call like it's like a Harvard offer. You know what I mean? It's like a very fucking good offer in the space, right? Where you're gonna make a ton of money, but and everyone wants to get on offers like that. But you came in, and you fucking dominated. So how did that happen?
I think, dude, just confidence. Like like I feel like a lot of people think it's like a formal thing or whatever, but like being a good closer is just who you like. You got to be just a good person. You got to be dialed
Mm,
in your life and just like express that as your general presence, right? So
mm,
like when I got on interviews, it was more like conversations and like just being curious and not like, oh, I'm competing against several other people. It's like I'm just gonna be myself. And if they honestly fuck with that, then you
hmm.
know they'll hire me basically.
Yeah, I feel like on interviews, what a lot of people do is they try to act like someone they're not because they're just like, oh shit, like what if this person doesn't like me? But your mindset was more so like, I'll just be myself in my most authentic form, and if they like me, they'll take me, and if not, they won't. But
And you know that too. You could probably
yeah,
like you run a team, like you could
yeah,
sniff that out. People
exactly,
are
right away, right away.
you
But
know.
I feel like you knew they were gonna like you, bro. Because it's like you have like this like very like calm, nonchalant energy about yourself. And I feel like as an example, like I interview people all the time, I build sales teams. Like I would always hire you immediately because I would just be like, this guy is just being himself. He's not lying. He's very chilled out. He's very relaxed. He's not tense. And it's like when people see that, like, I would know that you're the type of guy who can perform under pressure. Like a lot of people, they would shit the bed, But with you, I just know you would perform under pressure just because of how you'd be answering the questions. You're just being yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what happened the first month when you were on Twizzler's offer?
First month, well, I had no call recordings, no proof that I even knew what I was doing, basically. And the sales manager was like, we're gonna put you on a trial because I
Yeah,
have no call recordings. And honestly, dude, I knew nothing. Like I
yeah,
I knew how to, like lead gen sales, like way different sales than like closing. Closing's
hmm,
way different. So I didn't
yep.
know what I was
You
doing,
knew you
honestly.
knew agency sales, the fucking like the bullshit like agency gurus, how they teach you how to sell. You knew that type of sales, right? Yeah,
Yeah, and I literally didn't have enough money to hire someone at first to like show me like what to do. So I found like this free sales course, and I literally just like copied their framework, which was
yeah,
shit. Like, I get
yeah.
it, but like I literally just did that. And I was on the trial. The first three calls I had, I closed. Just because, dude, if you really like, honestly, I was
Mm,
thinking this the other day, if you treat every call like it's like your only fucking call, like even if
yes,
it's a few hours, you could probably close someone if you're willing to do that.
yeah.
Uh, and that's yeah. So I kind of just like winged it, closed three
Especially when
calls.
your back is against the wall, because your back was basically against the wall at that point, right?
Yeah, I was shitting, dude. I was
Yeah,
shitting my
yeah.
literally. I remember, yeah, just
Because
like
it's like, dude,
stressing.
like, what's the quote? It's fucking cheesy, but it's like a guy who has nothing to lose is like scariest person ever. I forgot. I always butcher quotes, bro, but you know what I'm talking about, right? And but
Yeah,
it
exactly.
is true. It is true. Because even with me, like when I first started closing my first offer, I was like dead broke. I was in debt. I was driving Uber. You know, after Pizza Hut, my second job was Uber, and I was like, I'm so fucked. And I was like, all right, I have nothing to lose. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but I have nothing to lose. Let me just see what happens. And I ended up closing my fourth ever call.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the best. I think that's the best way to be, dude, is just like be a guy that just like takes so many shots to where at any point in your life you really don't have nothing to lose. Like even when you are making 20K a month or whatever, like you should treat it like you have nothing to lose because that's how
Yeah.
you evolve, right?
Yeah.
Honestly,
So you start closing, and how much did you make in your first month though? Like, was the first
10K.
month good right away? 10K? Holy shit. Okay, so how did that feel? Because the thing is like this is for anyone that starts making good money. It's like the first time you actually make 10K is always, I say, it's always the most special moment, right? Because after that you just get so jaded because everyone around you is just so much richer, right? You meet
Yeah.
like such ballers. But how did that first level of success feel where you're like, holy fuck, like I actually did this, especially because you fucking earned it. It wasn't given, it was earned. So how did that feel?
It was sick, dude. Like it was just like a finally like a just like a fuck, dude. I finally hit my first 10K month. Like that was
Yeah.
like a whole like year and a half of
Yeah.
trying to do that through other agencies, other shit. And then when that finally happened, I was like, cool. Like now
Yeah.
I can
And what did
do
that
it.
do for your confidence, bro? Because it's like in the beginning, I know there's like so much self-doubt that we all go through, but when you get that first big win, like what did that do for you mentally, like in the sense of how you perceived yourself?
Um, well, maybe you're probably the same way or anyone. Like you kind of have to like already know you're gonna do it, you know? So like when I did it, I was just like, cool, like
Hmm.
prove again, like I just proved to myself like
Yep.
it didn't really change. It actually made me even more like back against the wall because like now I've tasted it and now
Now you can't lose
I'm
it.
in a position where I can lose that,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this
Dude, yeah, dude, it was
like,
fucking crazy. Like when I first hit my first big month, which was 10K, I was like, so this is where me and you're a bit different. This is what I want to talk about. I fucking told everyone, right? Just because like my parents were so worried about me and I hadn't moved out around that time, right? This is around 2 years ago. I hadn't moved out. So my parents knew I dropped out and I was like, fuck, like everyone knows now. And if this doesn't work, I am fuck. Like I'm gonna be literally like a joke. So in my mind, I was so scared of losing it. I want to know about you as well. Like around that time, were you living alone? Because I know you come from like a small town and you're more of a low key person. But talk to me about that.
well, yeah, I mean, I come from a small town. I was working for my dad's business. And like one day I told them I'm moving. They're like,
Hmm.
why? And I was like, honestly, just want to see something different, basically. And this is when I had my agency, so they thought I was doing that. And they didn't know what I was doing. They didn't even know I actually did
Mm-hmm.
sales for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like why didn't there was the pressure was that I am low key. So like people
Yeah.
and everyone was like, even when you're from a small town, everyone knows what everyone's doing, but like no
Yeah.
one knew
Yeah.
what I was doing, and like I didn't post anything. They just saw I moved. Like everyone's
Yeah.
like, okay, fucking this kid go. And that was the pressure because like if they're wondering what I'm doing, I better be doing something great because they probably think I am doing something
Ah,
great.
I
If
see
I
what you're saying.
to a new
Right.
city, so I was like, well, I better be doing something, you know.
But
If
but did you what
imagine if
when
like
did you tell
they're
your parents that like guys like I'm doing all right now, like don't worry about me?
dude, honestly, I'm a pretty like I'm kind of a like again like a kind of a degenerate. Like I always put myself in uncomfortable positions. The first 10K month I had, like I was
Yeah.
talking about a closer on my team, we're good friends.
Yeah.
I went and got a new truck, you know, like
Yeah,
which
you're
went,
fucking
but I
savage.
was like, and then I my dad was co-signed on my old truck, and he's like,
Yeah.
you're trying to trade your truck. I was like, yeah. So they saw I got a new truck, which is a badass truck, and then that's
Yeah.
when they like,
Oh,
okay.
nice, nice.
So
Well, so
I
you're that
don't
type of
reckon.
guy. It's like you don't say things. You just let like success talk for itself in that sense.
Yeah. Well, I probably shouldn't have got a new truck. I mean, we've talked about it, like being
Yeah.
financially
Yeah. I mean,
smart.
dude, you're doing all right. You're not doing too bad for yourself. You know what I mean? You're in a good position. But bro, it's interesting. They actually did a study on this and they found that the biggest predictor of success it's not intelligence, it's not hard work. It's actually like your ability to take risk. So
Yeah.
basically, the bigger the bigger your balls are, the more money you're gonna make. Because a lot of
Literally.
people, it's like they're just so fucking scared, man. But real quick, like, how did we meet?
Dude, so yeah, I mean, I knew about you before I even did sales because you were on Serge's
Yep,
team, and
yep.
that's big in the agency space. And then he would talk about you sometimes, and then I followed you a long time ago before, and then I started seeing your content, and I actually had an interview with Serge's team.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, dude, I mean, I liked your content, so then I think I hit you up in the DMs. And we from there, that's
Hmm.
how we
Awesome.
basically
And how was
came
the
into
experience, bro? How was the experience with the coaching and like what did they do for your sales process?
yeah. So I remember like you were a pillar. I think I hired you as a coach like a month and a half into closing. And
Hmm.
that's when I was dealing with a lot of doubt. And you just told me that you opened up my perspective of like, you are the man basically.
Hmm.
Like you helped me out with something that's not a word track or
Yeah.
something like you were the first person to say like, dude, relax. Like you are the shit. Like these
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
not where they want to be and you have what they want. So like
Exactly.
frame it
Because
that way.
with you, it's like like money was so new to you. Uh, we got 4 or 5 minutes before you got to hop off, guys.
Yeah.
Blaine has a sales team meeting, so we're in a rush, but we're almost done. But I know with you initially, it was like you were a bit nervous, like talking to like older people because money was so new to you. So there was a little bit of imposter syndrome going on where you're like, dude, like I know I'm supposed to do my job and close these guys, but like sometimes it's like I just have issues talking to these guys the same way that I would talk to someone my age. And I was like, bro, like it's all the same thing. At the end of the day, they're here because they need help. So I remember like we worked on a lot of things like that. We tightened up the sales process. And from there, like what did that do for like just your confidence and just the closing rate?
Yeah, it went up for sure. I mean, closing rate went up, confidence went up.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that you opened my eyes initially to that. And it's still that's something you got to continue to do. Like you don't just have a realization, it sticks.
Hmm.
You got to like wake up and really
Exactly. Yeah.
keep that mindset every day.
Yeah. And with closers, it's like your energy is so important throughout the day. So it's like if you have limiting beliefs and you're like, fuck, like what's going on? Oh, I'm not closing. Like what's happening? It can ruin your whole sales process. So I remember just working on that with you a ton. Cause even like right now, some of my clients, it's like they'll have bad weeks. And then they're like, wait, like is it me? And I'm like, dude, relax. You just got some unqualified leads. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be good to go. So once you hold on to that belief, everything essentially changes. So dude, with that being said, I mean, just like finish it off. I like to always just ask like this one question to everyone. Like now you're at a point, you've been closing for, 6, 7 months, made 10K in commissions every single month consistently, right around there. You've done quite well for yourself, right? So like what piece of advice would you have for a person who's just lost, they're new, they don't know what they want to do, and they're just looking for a way to make money? Like what would your message be to that person? Basically, if you're talking to young Blaine, what are you telling young Blaine?
Put your back against the wall. Like that's when things started really happening. Like when I was still in my hometown and comfortable, I was doing work, with my
Hmm.
agency, but nothing happened. But as soon as I moved to a new city and I actually had to make things happen is when shit will just happen. You'll make
Hmm.
it happen. So like, yeah, put your back against the wall if you're looking to make money. If that's, learning, like just like investing in yourself, that's huge. Like if you're too scared, like this is I'll just leave it off at this. Like, if
Yeah.
you're too scared to invest in yourself and you plan on being a closer, then you might as well not even be a closer, because that energy like translates.
Yeah.
If you're not
Yeah.
buying shit, then people aren't gonna buy from you.
With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this interview with Blaine. Blaine, thank you for the interview. And yeah, with that being said, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.